Hachim Mastour, or as some people called him, the Moroccan Neymar. Except, there was just one little problem. He was never actually good at football. AC Milan signed him at 14, which sounds amazing, until you realise they also gave him a pro deal before he played a single minute of senior football. Nike jumped on him, not because of goals, not because of assists, just because. People really thought he was going to dribble past Serie A defenders like he was in a FIFA Skills Arena. But then he finally got called up for the first team. To be honest, he couldn't even make the bench. Fun fact, he made 0 appearances for AC Milan. Yep, nada. But then AC Milan had the brilliant idea to loan him out. They loaned him out to Málaga. Spanish sunshine, perfect for a glow-up, right? Nah, he played 1 league game, got subbed in, looked lost, got subbed out. Eventually, he even played in the Netherlands, a club you only hear about when Ajax dropped 6 goals on them. He made 5 appearances there. But then, when you thought you'd heard everything, there was another bombshell. By 2018, he was trending in the wrong direction. He went to Greece, didn't play. Morocco called him up once, probably by accident, then forgot he existed. In 2020, he went to Regina in Serie B. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. But wait, it gets funnier. In 2022, he signed for Renaissance Zemamra. Don't know them? You're not alone. It's a Moroccan second division side that sounds more like an art gallery than a football club. Meanwhile, he kept posting Instagram clips of him doing Rabonas in training. Yes, training, not matches. But now, to be honest, Hachim Mastour might be the first footballer whose entire career existed on the internet. He was a brand before he was a baller, a TikTok player before TikTok even existed. The saddest part, Mastour actually had talent, insane technical ability. Now he's 26. No major club wants him. No one's talking about him. Ravel Morrison, Sir Alex Ferguson once said, "The best young player I've ever seen at Manchester United." He wasn't talking about Pogba or Rashford. Nope, he meant Ravel Morrison. The streets won't forget him. At 14, Ravel Morrison was cooking defenders alive. Skilled, strong, ice cold with the ball. Coaches at Manchester United Youth even said he was a generational talent. Elite touch, you name it. He had it. But then there was a little problem that later turned out to be a huge one actually. He had 0 discipline. The same Sir Alex who once tamed Cantona, who turned Rooney into a goal machine. He said, "It was very difficult to protect him from himself. It even became such a big problem that he wasn't showing up to training, or showing up late, or showing up but not sober. One day he's scoring a hat-trick in training, the next he's getting arrested for witness intimidation. You can't even make that up." But then Man United did something genius. They sent him packing to West Ham, a club famous for one thing. Yeah, I still don't know. Guess what? For about 5 minutes, Ravel looked like a star. He scored that goal versus Spurs, solo run, smooth finish. The whole of England said, he's back. Except, he never arrived in the first place. Throughout his career, he had 13 clubs in 7 different countries, but the most funny one was in Italy. At Lazio, he spoke no Italian, didn't play, fell out with the coach, shocker. In Mexico, he scored 3 goals in 2 years. In Sweden, he lasted 5 months. At DC United, played a few games. Now let's be clear, football doesn't care about talent, it cares about habits. And his habits were being late, arguing, and refusing to adapt. He wasn't a bad player, he was just not serious. But then, thank God 2022 happened. In 2022, Wayne Rooney tried to save him again, brought him to Derby, gave him minutes, even gave him the captain's armband once, and for a second, hope flickered. But then, you can guess it by now, nada. He later even admitted in an interview, "I had everything, and I threw it away." Instead, he's just another what if in a long line of English talents who lost the plot before they even hit 25. But the worst part is even that a lot of people wanted him to win. Every fan did, I guess. But magic isn't enough. You need work rate, you need consistency, you need to actually show up. And sadly, Ravel Morrison never did. Charly Musonda Jr., he joined Chelsea at 15, and you already know how that script goes. Step 1, get hyped. Step 2, get loaned. Step 3, disappear. But unlike the other stories, things are really different this time. Chelsea didn't just sign him, they snatched him. From Anderlecht, from Barcelona's radar, from a future, because of course he was the next big thing. Short, winger, Belgium, dribbly. Let's fast forward to when things were still looking good. Musonda lit it up in youth football. U21 games, man was embarrassing defenders, dribbling through entire squads like he was allergic to passing. But then came the big moment, 2017, Chelsea's senior debut. Stamford Bridge cup match, he scored, knee slide, screamed into the camera, looked like a young king ready to take over. But then he suddenly vanished. Chelsea gave him a few more games, but instead of giving him a run of matches, they shipped him off to Real Betis. At Betis, he started off sharp. Even Zidane complimented him after a game. After Betis, more loans. He went to Celtic, Scotland, where Flair goes to freeze. Fun fact, he barely played, was injured, and Celtic fans quickly moved on to their next mystery winger with vibes and no end product. But then came the real tragedy. In 2019, Musonda got injured. Not a little knock, a career-destroying injury. He tore his posterior cruciate ligament. Doctors told him he had a 20% chance of ever playing football again. 20%. He even tried surgery, rehab more surgery, didn't play for over months. Chelsea forgot he existed, fans forgot he existed, even Google probably forgot, but credit where it's due, he fought back. In 2021, he posted a picture on Instagram, crying, emotional, saying he'd play again. He trained alone, worked out every day, day, did rehab like a man on a mission, and then finally, he played again. For Chelsea U23s, low stakes, no cameras, but it was a win, a comeback, until Chelsea went, cool story, here's your release papers. Yup, they let him go, so where does he go? Levante, in Spain's second division, make it make sense. Signed for free. Wore number 10, said he was ready to rise again, played a few games, looked sharp, but guess what? Injuries. Again. Bro's knees are more fragile than Arsenal's title hopes, I guess. Even now, no one really knows if he's fully fit. Musonda's story isn't just sad, it's brutal. From next hazard to next surgery, but the guy kept fighting, even when his own club moved on, even when nobody watched. You can laugh at his career stats, you can clown the loans, you can meme the hype, but you can't mock the heart. Musonda didn't quit when most would have. Alen Halilovic, he was 16, dribbled past a few tired defenders in Croatia, and boom, Barca signed him. Everyone lost their minds. Short, tricky, left-footed, looked like he hadn't hit puberty. Spanish media even said he was the Balkan Messi. That should have been the red flag. Messi isn't Balkan, and Halilovic isn't Messi. But then Barcelona stuck him straight into the B team, where he immediately proved he could spin around 3 Segunda players and then pass it out for a throw-in. He played 30-plus games, scored 4 goals, assisted a few. Still, people kept saying, trust the process, he's learning. But then, while Iniesta and Xavi were bossing midfield in the first team he got loaned out, he went to Sporting Gijón and somehow actually looked decent. Some flair, a few goals, a couple assists, and suddenly the hype came back. He's ready, bring him to the first team. He can replace Iniesta, at least that's what they said, but Barca knew better and sold him to Hamburg, Germany. Now, if you watch football, you know Germany is not for the soft players. It took Halilovic exactly 3 games to get benched. He was allergic to defending, didn't track back, didn't press, but then from Hamburg, it just got funnier. Loaned to Las Palmas, looked sharp, and this time more ready than ever. Then he started doing that thing where you beat a man, only to immediately lose the ball to the next guy. Eventually, AC Milan somehow thought it was a good idea to sign him. They gave him a 4-year contract and still nothing. They loaned him to Standard Liège, where he played less than 200 minutes, which is like 2 episodes of a Netflix show. He even played 17 games at SC Heerenveen in the Netherlands. Scored 0. Literally no impact. You could have replaced him with a traffic cone and nobody would have noticed. At this point, Halilovic's career map looked like a failed Interrail trip. Spain, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, all in 5 years. But then, years later, he gave an interview explaining why it didn't work out. So what happened? He basically said that nobody needs to be compared to Messi, you can only fail from there on. Every club hoped they could fix him, that one coach could unlock his potential. But the truth, there was no door. Halilovic was supposed to be Croatia's next big thing. Instead, he became a cautionary tale. All hype, all dribble. Nowadays, he's still only 28. But let's be honest, his prime ended before it even began. Renato Sanches, the teenager who bullied midfielders like he was built in a lab. Remember Euro 2016? 18 years old, looked 28. Portugal won the whole thing, and we thought, this guy, future Ballon d'Or, no debate. Bayern Munich saw the hype, did what Bayern always do, signed the best thing from the tournament and assumed he'd become a robot. 35 million euros. Just like that, teenager goes from Benfica to Bayern, but then something happened that never was supposed to happen. Sanches didn't walk into a midfield, he walked into a blender. First game, lost. Second game, lost. By the 5th match, fans were Googling, can you return a player after international tournaments? You could see the panic in his eyes. This wasn't Portugal anymore. This was Bayern, where every pass, every press, every haircut is judged, and he just didn't fit. But then, even when fans didn't wanted it, he got loaned it. Bayern sent him to, wait for it, Swansea. This was the lowest point. At one point, Swansea's manager literally had to sub him before halftime. Not for injury, just to protect the crowd from further pain. One British commentator called it the worst loan spell in Premier League history. After that, Bayern benched him harder than Vinicius crying nowadays. He played some games, showed flashes, but it always ended in nothing. But then finally came the reset. Lille, the French club of broken toys, and somehow it worked. He got fit, he played simple, he even won League One, stealing the title from PSG. For a moment, just a moment, Renato Sanches was back, so of course PSG signed him. But at PSG, he became furniture, expensive and rarely used. You know it's bad when Danilo Pereira is ahead of you in the pecking order, and he's a centre-back pretending to be a midfielder. Renato couldn't get minutes, even when PSG's bench looked like a youth academy. But then after all, Mourinho called and actually helped him. Roma. Surely Mourinho can save him, right? Well, game 1, injured. Game 2, scored. Game 3, subbed off, injured again. Mourinho literally said, he's always injured. I can't rely on him. Ouch. And now, Renato Sanches is 27. The truth is, Renato Sanches' football's lost luggage, moves from club to club. Sometimes looks shiny, sometimes looks broken. Renato Sanches, from Europe's golden boy, to the guy still trying to find his chapter 2. Ansu Fati. The year is 2019. Barcelona's in shambles. Messi's carrying pensioners. The midfield looks like it's stuck in a traffic jam. But then, out of nowhere, comes this 16-year-old. Ansu Fati, fast, confident, and boy did he light it up. Scored goals, took on defenders, gave Camp Nou fans a reason to put their shirts back on. People went crazy. He's the new Neymar. He's the next Messi. He's 16 and already better than your club's front line. And like every hyped teenager at Barcelona, they gave him Messi's shirt, the cursed number 10. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, it turned out later a lot. Let's start with his knees, because about 5 minutes into his fairy tale, boom, injury, meniscus gone, sidelined for 10 months. He came back, played 30 minutes, injured again, and when he did play, he looked different, slower, hesitant, like someone running while constantly checking if their hamstring still exists. But then meanwhile, Barcelona's genius board made sure to do the one thing no injured kid needs. Raise the expectations. You are the future. Oh, also, here's a €1 billion release clause. So what did Barcelona do? Loan him out, get him minutes, build his confidence to a nice low-pressure club like Brighton. But at Brighton, it got crazier. He started off alright, scored a goal against Ajax in the Europa League, but soon enough, he vanished. Injuries again. Form disappeared. Couldn't get into the starting 11 of Brighton. Let that sink in. The heir to Messi was watching Danny Welbeck from the bench. Nothing against this guy, but yeah. Eventually Barcelona brought him back. But now things had changed insanely. He was now the 6th choice. Yamal, Rafinha, Varane, Felix, even Lewandowski's shadow, all ahead of him. So what happened? It's simple. Ansu was rushed. Too much pressure, too young, too fast. Barcelona were desperate. They threw him in and crossed their fingers. And when the injuries hit, they still marketed him like he was prime Ronaldinho. Truth is, Ansu Fati might still be a decent player, but he'll never be what they sold us. Not Messi 2.0, not Neymar 3.0, maybe just Ansu Fati. And that might not be enough for Barcelona. Nowadays, he's still only 22, but his body moves like it's 32. So now what? Will he bounce back? But one thing's for sure, giving a teenager the number 10 after Messi is like giving your little brother the family car keys, right after a crash. Karamoko Dembele. You remember Karamoko Dembele, right? The 13-year-old who broke the internet. Dribbling past kids and stuff, the clips went viral, the headlines went mad. Celtic's mini Messi. But then, absolutely nothing. No, seriously, he went from being the most hyped kid in Britain to nothing. Let's rewind. Karamoko made his Celtic U20 debut at age 13. He was literally playing against grown men with facial hair and full-time jobs, while probably still doing multiplication tables in school. And guess what? He cooked them. Dribbles, flicks, body feints. He was dancing through defenders like it was nothing. The internet crowned him immediately. Remember the name? Spoiler, no one did. But then he finally got the first team call-up. By 16, he made his senior debut for Celtic. Fans were buzzing. Here we go, this is it. He played 10 minutes, looked alright. Then going into the next season, he played a few more games. Couple flashes, some nice footwork, but then suddenly things changed drastically. Celtic stopped pushing him, coaches started picking actual adults. Eventually, even Celtic fans were like, wait, is he injured? Is he on loan? Is he still alive? Turns out, none of the above. He was just there, training, not playing, not developing. So what next? A career reset, of course. Where does a once-hyped Scottish prodigy go to reignite things? France. Stade Brestois. Eventually, Brest loaned him out to Blackpool. Yes, Blackpool. The club that screams, hey, remember the Premier League? Yeah, us neither. But at Blackpool, things got even messier. He finally got a run of games, started regularly, and guess what? He didn't dominate, didn't explode, didn't even light up a puddle, 0 goals in 12 games, barely any assists, and not a single viral clip. He's now 21, and most people have no idea where he is. He could be playing, retired, or working at JD Sports. No one would be shocked. So what went wrong? Honestly, everything. Too much hype, too early. The internet made him famous before he made a single impact. He became a celebrity before he became a footballer. He's the footballer version of a teaser trailer. Exciting, but when the full movie drops, it flops. He never evolved. So where is he now? Still under contract at Brest, but barely playing. Still 5 feet 4 inches, still promising, still kind of irrelevant. Reinier Jesus. You ever walk into a store, buy something expensive, then forget you bought it? Yeah, that's Reinier Jesus. Real Madrid spent 30 million euros on him. It's 2020. Reinier just finished a decent season at Flamengo. Teenage flair samba moves, he looked exciting. And Madrid went, yes, he's Brazilian, he's under 20. Let's buy him before City does. Classic Florentino Perez logic. If he speaks Portuguese and dribbles twice a game, Galactico. They even gave him a 6-year contract, but here's the catch. He didn't go to the first team, didn't get training sessions with Benzema, didn't even get an intro at the Bernabeu. They sent him straight to Real Madrid Castilla. Yeah, the B team. So basically, here's 30 million euros. Now go play in front of 40 people and a dog. But from there, the real mystery began. Nobody really saw Reinier play. There were no highlights, no buzz. It was like he got abducted by football aliens. Then suddenly came the loan strategy. Madrid loves this game. So they picked Borussia Dortmund. Sure, why not? They had Haaland, Sancho, Bellingham. Perfect place for a talented kid to develop, right? Wrong. At Dortmund, Reinier was invisible. He spent 2 years there. Guess how many starts he made? 10. In 2 years. After that disaster, Madrid thought, okay, maybe he just needs a different kind of loan. So where to next? Girona? Yes, Girona. The city known for, I don't know, they play good football, sure. But Reinier still didn't shine. Played 12 games, scored once, got injured twice, and just like that, another season gone. At this point, people forgot he even existed. But then came the latest loan move. Frosinone. Yes, that's a Serie A team. Yes, they were fighting relegation. And yes, they still barely played him. Even Frosinone looked at a Real Madrid loanee and went. By this point, Reinier's career looked like a bad road trip. Madrid, Dortmund, Girona, Frosinone. Next stop, probably the Championship or MLS. Or back to Flamengo pretending none of this ever happened. So what went wrong? Let's break it down. 1. Signed too early. He had one good season in Brazil. Looked shiny. But wasn't ready for Europe, especially not Madrid, where the bench is more crowded than a Black Friday sale. 2. No clear position. Is he a 10? A winger? You name it. Even his managers didn't know. 3. Confidence equals gone. 2 years of watching Haaland score 40 goals while you warm the bench? Yeah, that'll do things to your soul. By the time he got to Girona, he looked mentally cooked. By Frosinone, he was just collecting air miles. Now look, it's not like he's untalented. Reinier can play. The problem is, he plays football like he's scared to mess up. Everything safe, everything slow, no edge, no fire, no, I'm here to take your spot energy. You can't fake that, especially in Europe, where coaches will bench you faster than you can say, promising prospect. And now, he's 23, still on Real Madrid's books, still trying to convince someone he's worth the hype. The irony? Real Madrid signed Bellingham 4 years later. Same age, same price, and within 2 games, he became the face of the club. Reinier? Still waiting for anyone to recognize him in training. Madrid's got no space for him. The midfield is full. The forwards are world class, and even Castilla has moved on. He's like a forgotten DLC character in a game no one plays anymore. It's sad, but it's also funny in a tragic way. You spend 30 million euros, hide the player for 5 years, and then wonder why he didn't turn into Kaká. Reinier Jesus is football's ultimate ghost signing, hyped like a star, used like a backup charger, and now floating around Europe like a lost Amazon package. He might still find a career, maybe at a smaller club, maybe back in Brazil, maybe as a YouTube Where Are They Now episode. But as far as Real Madrid's Galactico dreams, this one was a myth.